Here's some fodder for thought. The unlawful expansion of local authorities. Local councils in Australia have been steadily expanding their reach or overreach into the private lives and properties of residents of their towns. Two glaring recent examples include the Gold Coast City Council's view tax and the City of Casey's private use permit for car repairs. Look, these policies not only push the limits of lawful governance, but also impose unlawful restrictions and financial burdens on property owners for things that councils do not own, create, or maintain. So, Gold Coast's view tax, are they charging for nature? Did they create nature? So, the GCCC has implemented a so-called view tax, an arbitrary tax levy based on perceived value of a property's natural view. However, this tax could be looked at as unlawful for several reasons. The council does not provide or maintain the view. The oceans, the mountains, and natural surroundings exist independently of human intervention. The council does not own, create, or maintain these views. Charging for a view is equivalent to taxing the air you breathe or the sunlight that we all enjoy. There's been no consideration given, meaning no lawful contract. One could say that a lawful transaction requires consideration, meaning both parties must exchange something of value. So, since the council provides nothing in return, is there a lawful basis for this particular tax? Could it be unjust enrichment and fraudulent misrepresentation? The council is demanding payment for a feature of nature, which, as far as I'm aware, the Gold Coast City Council doesn't own nature. If a private company attempted to charge for a view of the ocean, would it be deemed fraudulent? Violation of property rights. So if you own your land or property, the view is part of your property rights. So the council, let me get this straight, the council is effectively rent seeking on private property without a lawful claim. You know what? This could be a real dangerous precedent because really, if councils are allowed to tax natural features, what's next? Will they impose a fee for having a sunny back garden? This is an arbitrary revenue scheme, not a lawful tax. So, how can we resist the view tax? So, these are just some thoughts that have been sent in that I've thought about. They're not advice in any way, but ask the council to provide a wet ink signed contract agreed to pay for the view. Did I do that? No, they can't provide that contract to me. Request for proof of authority. Ask for the legislation, not just the policy, that justifies the view tax. And then challenge the tax assessment. Demand evidence that your view increases your property's financial value in real lawful sense. You could serve a notice of conditional acceptance. agree to comply only if they can provide proof of obligation. There's another council who are overreaching a little bit. Melbourne's private use permit for car repairs, an unlawful restriction on private property. Most of my friends do their own car repairs and servicing, right? So in the city of Casey, that includes Cranbourne, Berwick, and surrounding areas, new regulations require a permit to work on your own vehicle on your private land. The details of this absurd policy include, I'm going to have to read this bit, $150 non-refundable application fee, a $250 permit fee if it's approved. So that's a total of $400 to apply, and then if it's approved, if they don't approve, they still keep you $150. A requirement to apply 14 days in advance. And there is no clear definition of what is detrimental to the amenity of the area. Now, look, this could be looked at as unlawful, overreach on so many levels. Number one, no consent, no authority. Councils are corporations, not inherently governing bodies, right? They've been given those authorities from the state government. They're not a level of government themselves. So can they impose contractual obligations without your consent? Look, we could ask them, where is the contract proving I agreed to these conditions for me to do an oil change in my garage? Violation of property rights. And you can hear my dog doesn't like this either, right? Your land is yours and you have the right to use it peacefully. Do no harm, cause no loss. So we could ask, who is the injured party if I repair my own car? Laws cannot restrict private property use without consent or harm. Now, look, if councils are corporations, we need to actually challenge their jurisdiction. Councils are legally registered as corporations. So maybe we need to demand proof that they have lawful jurisdiction over private land use. So private property is not under council control. So your land title does not give council's authority over how you use your garage or carport, does it? So if my land is mine, why am I required to seek permission to use it? Another point, no fine without due process. So any fine issued without a lawful court ruling is an unlawful demand for payment. So if they issue a notice, right, we could then issue them a notice of rebuttal, rejecting the fine unless due process is followed. We could demand a lawful invoice proving an actual debt. Can they provide one? So, bit of food for thought or fodder for thought. Are councils overstepping their lawful bounds? Is this overreach? How can councils justify taxing a natural view they did not create, own, or maintain? Now, if they can charge for a view, what is stopping them from taxing sunlight, fresh air, trees in our backyard? When did it become necessary to ask permission to use your own land for harmless activities? What gives a council the lawful right to demand fees and permits for an activity that causes no harm? If no contract exists between you and the council, how can their policies be legally binding? Are these councils acting as service providers or corporate overlords imposing restrictions without consent? What are your thoughts? If their claims are lawful, why do they struggle to provide proof of jurisdiction, consent, or authority? These are just questions. By asking these questions and demanding lawful evidence, maybe we can begin to push back corporate control disguised as local councils, as local governance. So if your council can't provide proof of jurisdiction, provide a contract, or show lawful authority, then their rules are merely unenforceable policies. So are you really bound by them? I'd love to know what you think. Please let me know in the comments. See ya.